And interest rates higher from next year. That's the latest forecast from the influential OECD, the Global Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development. Now, this comes from its latest economic outlook. It's out overnight that says Australia's economy will keep growing at a robust pace. Now, if you're in retail, anything to do with the household sector, car sales, for example, I'd reckon you'd describe the economy as anything but robust right now. But the OECD says strong growth in other parts of the world is pushing up commodity prices, and that helps Australia's exports and improves our terms of trade, which you can see right here. Now, if the OECD does see a vulnerability, it remains housing and the debts that people have taken on to buy property. Substantial mortgage borrowing has resulted in households being heavily indebted, it says. Now, another vulnerability is our banks, which is odd considering the ongoing call for an inquiry into the whole sector. Australia is vulnerable to too big to fail risks, the OECD says, due to its highly concentrated banking sector. This means with Australia's big four banks holding 80% of deposits and around 80% of mortgages, if house prices fall sharply, it'll have a massive impact on their profits and their capital. Now, if the banks get into trouble, and that's a very, very big if, the banks recently boosted their capital adequacy, but if they got into trouble, then the government, in other words you, the taxpayer, would have to bail them out because they're just too important. That said, the Financial System Inquiry Chairman David Murray last night reminded me that no depositor has lost money in an Australian bank collapse since the 1890s. What I sense is the OECD is trying to encourage the government to push for more global competition to our banks. But just remember that first comment. It's also the OECD's last comment. Australia's robust growth will continue. So keep working, paying off the mortgage. We're all okay for at least now. The Dow Jones jumped 110 points overnight.